Hi, I'm Slated, and today I'm going to talk about one of the most discussed heroes in the Overwatch community right now, Sombra. When she came out in November, everyone wanted to try her out, but it wasn't long before people stopped playing her. Because of things like her wide bullet spread and less reliable damage output, Sombra is usually not picked over more reliable offensive heroes like Soldier or Genji. Even when she is played, players who pick Sombra are begged to switch due to her poor reputation, even in situations that she excels in. Do I think she's underpowered? Well, yes, she definitely could use some improvements. But I still think she's a strong hero who gets underestimated a lot of the time by the enemy as well as by her own team, and with proper coordination, she can be a crucial team member. Most people I see playing Sombra either are just trying her out for the first time and don't know how to use her properly, or have taken the time and effort to learn her and control the battlefield. I'm making this guide so more people will learn how to use Sombra, and hopefully more players will realize her potential. Let's start with her primary fire, which, to be honest, isn't that great. It's an automatic pistol with a wide spread that requires a lot of precision aiming to land all your shots. While it does well against tanks, since they have large hitboxes, she struggles when trying to hit the more slippery characters like Genji or Junkrat, although getting better at tracking will make a big difference. Usually, if I'm not confident about making headshots, I aim for the target's body rather than the head, so more of the bullets land. When a pistol is low on ammo, it will make a different sound, letting you know it's probably time to reload soon. Sombra's secondary fire, Hack, is probably her most iconic ability. It's what sets her apart as more of a utility character rather than a straight up damage character like most of the offensive picks. Pressing secondary fire will cause Sombra to enter a hacking animation, which can be interrupted by taking damage or losing line of sight. Try to position yourself above and to the side of the enemy while hacking, to make your angle less expected. Hacking enemies will disable their abilities for a while, which is mainly used for removing defensive abilities such as offense characters' escapes and tanks' barriers. It can also be used to interrupt ultimates, but keep in mind that hacking someone using a power-up ultimate, like Genji, Winston, and Soldier, will disable their abilities but not their ultimates, so oftentimes it's better to keep away from them regardless. Sombra can also technically hack Torbjorn turrets, but this rarely can happen unless the turret is targeting a teammate, since the turret's damage usually interrupts her hack. Sombra's hack has a second use too, hacking health packs. Hacked health packs do two things: they respawn faster, and the enemy team can't use them. Health pack control is usually what makes or breaks a game as Sombra on most maps. On some maps, there are one or two health packs that are almost always on cooldown, so being able to use them more is a huge advantage. And while starving enemies of their health packs may go unnoticed by your team, it makes a huge impact on the enemy team, causing them to rely entirely on their healers. Also remember that healing done by health packs increases your ultimate charge by a set amount per pack, making health packs the safe, easy, and reliable way to get ultimate charge. At the start of a round on defense, you can get a free, safe hack on any health pack, so I usually choose one that's used by the enemy at the start of the round, yet too far behind the enemy to bother with during the rest of the round. Sombra's stealth ability not only causes her to go invisible, but also gives Sombra a speed boost. Pressing primary or secondary fire or taking damage will disable stealth. Sombra can't use any of her abilities while going in or out of stealth except her ultimate, so you might want to leave stealth a little early if you're planning on engaging. This ability can be used to get behind enemy lines so you can hack or attack key targets, but keep in mind that Sombra can't kill her enemies instantly, so stealth is useful more as a repositioning tool than as a way to sneak into an insta-kill. It can also be used as a short sprint so you can quickly move to a better position if you're not being fired at, which is usually how I use it when I'm playing defense. Keep in mind that the stealth portion of this ability is disabled with abilities that allow enemies to detect targets behind walls. Sombra's teleport beacon ability is a unique form of movement that has a variety of uses. Activating it will throw the beacon, and activating it again will teleport you to the beacon, wherever it is. You can throw and teleport while in stealth as well. Defensively, you can throw the beacon to a safe area to act as a tether if things go wrong while in combat. Offensively, you can teleport behind a player to surprise them, giving you a split-second advantage while they're still aiming at where you once were. Sometimes they'll anticipate your teleport, but usually they'll still be aiming at where you were. And a split second of extra damage can determine the outcome of engagement. You can also throw the beacon as a way to escape combat, but usually it takes time to throw and teleport. Also keep in mind that you have invincibility frames during your teleport, so a well-timed beacon can be used like a dodge. Sombra's ultimate is basically an upgraded version of her hack. It attacks all enemies in an area instantly after a short animation, as well as disabling shields from Zenyatta, Zarya, and Symmetra, as well as Lucio and Symmetra's ults. It's usually used to prevent enemies from escaping a push, and requires a lot of team coordination to be effective. It does practically nothing when you use it alone though, so try to make sure your team is ready for when you use it. Probably the least talked about of Sombra's abilities is her passive ability, which allows Sombra to see heavily damaged enemies through walls. This has incredible synergy with all of her other abilities, as she can chase down low health opponents with her movement abilities and quickly finish them off with her primary fire, which only requires a few hits to kill a squishy enemy with low health. And since people usually travel to the nearest health pack when alone and low on health, you can almost certainly get a kill on an enemy heading for a hacked health pack. Be sure to call out low health enemies to your team, since you're the only one you can see when an enemy is low. Sombra has a different playstyle than some of the other offensive heroes. Although she can try to some extent, Sombra is terrible at fighting head-on. Her damage output is too low, and she lacks the sustain of characters like Roadhog or Soldier. Her playstyle is more similar to Reaper or Tracer, in that she's better as a flanker. Her hack can disable key targets in crucial moments, but most of the time you'll be hacking health packs. Control over health packs is what makes or breaks a Sombra game on some maps, such as Legion Control Center and the last point of King's Row. Be sure to know your health packs and manage them well, because if a health pack gets no use, hacking it will be a waste of time. Most importantly though, remember to communicate with your team, either with voice commands or a microphone. Sombra relies on her team more than any other offensive hero, so good communication is essential to a good Sombra player. Every time you see a low health enemy you can't reach, or you hack a vulnerable target like Reinhardt or Roadhog, or you're ready to use your EMP, your team should know about it. Sombra is terrible at fighting a 1v1 though. Unless the enemy is already damaged or hacked, you'll probably lose. And it's almost always a bad idea to hack while dueling someone. The extra time it takes to hack could be better spent dealing damage. Either focus on finishing the enemy off or escaping. Sombra has a lot of useful team fighting skills, but alone she can barely hold her own. Here are some of the hero's Sombra counters. Keep in mind that she still doesn't always do well one-on-one against most of these characters, but having a Sombra on your team against them will increase your chances of winning encounters. Genji. While Sombra can't hack Genji out of his ult, Genji relies almost entirely on his abilities to survive, so if you can manage a hack on him, usually while he's reflecting, your team can easily finish him off. Pharah. A Pharah that's good at aiming and predicting will usually win against a Sombra alone. However, a Sombra's hack can interrupt a Pharah ult, and her pistol can shred through an unaware Pharah, even though there are better picks for killing a Pharah while she's ulting. Reaper. No more worrying about low health Reapers floating away, they can't use their Wraith form. Also, Sombra can use her EMP to hack Reaper out of his ult, since the standard hack will probably be interrupted. Sombra. If your enemy has a Sombra that's giving you a lot of trouble, Sombra can actually be a good counterpick. She can hack health packs first to gain an advantage, and a hacked Sombra is basically a sitting duck. Keep in mind though, that in a contest between an attacking and defending Sombra, the defending Sombra will have an advantage, since she will have easier access to all the health packs. Tracer. While it sometimes can be tricky, hacking a Tracer removes all of her utility, making her a sitting duck. Bastion. A good team built around a Bastion will always be positioned around it. However, hacking disables turret farm, and your pistol is way better than Bastion's SMG in a duel. Mei. What makes Mei so annoying, aside from her crowd control, is her ability to self-heal and create a wall if she gets into trouble. These abilities aren't a problem if you hack her. Also, Sombra can escape Mei's ult if she teleports out in time. Torbjorn. Again, Sombra can hack Torbjorn's turrets, but it's hard to do so with her standard right click. Widowmaker. Because Widowmaker's ult makes you detected while stealthed, it is a common misconception that Widow is a counter to Sombra, but it's actually the other way around. Sombra can easily position herself behind a scoped-in Widow and take her out, and it only takes a small adjustment in playstyle to play around an Infrasight. D.Va. Sombra can hack through D.Va's defense matrix. She can also prevent a frightened D.Va from escaping and even, if timed correctly, prevent D.Va from returning to her mech after a self-destruct. Reinhardt. Hacking a Rein out of his shield usually leaves the rest of his team exposed. If the Rein spins around to stop you on his flank, he turns his back to your team, basically painting a target on his back. A hack will also interrupt a charging Reinhardt. Roadhog. Sombra can teleport out of Roadhog's range before he can execute his combo, and her hack can prevent him from hooking or self-healing, essentially making him to be a giant punching bag for your team. She can also easily use her right click to hack Roadhog out of his ultimate. Zarya. Sombra can easily shut down an unprepared Zarya, disabling her ability to shield her team. Sombra can also escape out of Zarya's ultimate with her teleport, and EMP removes half of Zarya's total health pool. Ana. Ana's biotic grenades and sleep dart make her a pain to deal with, but she's the only healer who can't heal herself without any abilities. Lucio. Lucio barely relies on his abilities since his main function is to simply be present and deal poke damage with his primary fire, but his ultimate is one of the things Sombra is designed to hard counter, as her EMP cancels it out entirely after it's used. Mercy. Mercy is usually with her team, but sneak behind enemy lines and catch her off guard, and Sombra might be able to pick her off. A hacked Mercy can't use her revive or escape either, making her an easy target. Symmetra. If you see a Symmetra trying to start a duel with you as Sombra, run away, because there is no way you will win. But if you use an EMP on her and her team, they will lose all the shields they gain from her ultimate. Zenyatta. Zenyatta only has 50 health without shields. An EMP Zenyatta is basically dead. Here are some of the characters that Sombra has good synergy with as teammates. Any offensive hero. Without question, you will need another offensive hero to deal damage with you if you're playing Sombra, because her damage output is not nearly as good as all the others in her class. Reinhardt. When working with a Reinhardt, try to time your EMP just before or after an Earth Shatter. Roadhog. Sombra can hack enemies at Roadhog hooks to ensure that they don't escape. Zarya. One of the biggest problems with Sombra's ult is trying to catch enemies in a group, and one of the biggest problems with Zarya's ult is that the enemy team will use abilities to escape or negate the damage. If you can sync ults with Zarya and have at least one other damage dealer with you, every person caught in the ult is guaranteed dead. Mei. Same thing as Zarya, only Mei can freeze and slow people with a primary fire as well. Lucio. While all supports work okay with Sombra, Lucio has the most synergy, since his speed boost stacks with her stealth sprint to make her go extremely fast. Remember, Sombra has a bad reputation right now for a reason. She's not as all-around useful as the other offensive picks, but if played effectively in the right conditions, with a well-coordinated team, she can really shine. Keep in mind that I'm not the best Sombra player in the world either. I don't play a lot of competitive games. I just made this guide as an in-depth exploration of her abilities in hopes that more people will play her who understand her, and that more players will be willing to accept a Sombra pick on their own teams. Let me know what you think of this video, and of Sombra in general in the comments, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see other videos similar to this one. In the past, I've done cartoon analysis content rather than Overwatch content, and I'd like to keep doing that, but the problem is I'm super scared of copyright claims on my videos, so if you want to see more videos like that, and have a suggestion on how to get around those annoying restrictions, please let me know in the comments.